Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a story for you that's a little different, a little darker. It's about how something as ordinary as a vending machine can turn an entire town on its head. So, grab a snack, maybe not from a strange machine, and settle in. My name is Lily, and I'm a student at Northview High. You know the type of place. The clocks tick just a bit too loudly, and the hallways carry a permanent scent of disinfectant mixed with a faint hint of teenage regret. It's the kind of place where nothing ever happens. Until it did. It all started on a Monday morning. Tucked away in that awkward space between the boys' bathroom and the janitor's closet, a new vending machine had appeared. No one saw it being delivered. No one saw it being installed. It was just there, humming a low, almost imperceptible tune. It wasn't one of the school's official machines, which were all plastered with logos and student council flyers. This one was sleek, black, and completely anonymous. There was no brand name and no company logo. At first glance, it seemed normal enough. It was filled with rows of colorful chips, candy bars, and sodas. But as you got closer, you started to notice the details were wrong. The labels weren't in English or Spanish or any language any of us had ever seen. They were a bizarre collection of strange symbols and characters that seemed to shift and rearrange themselves when you weren't looking directly at them. The prices were even weirder, flickering between nonsensical numbers and symbols, like a corrupted computer file. For the first couple of days, everyone was too weirded out to touch it. We'd walk past it, whispering, daring each other to try it. But no one did. It was an enigma, a silent, humming question mark in the middle of our mundane school day. Of course, that couldn't last. The first person to break the seal was Jake. Jake was our resident class clown, the guy who would do anything for a laugh. He sauntered up to the machine with a crumpled dollar bill in his hand, a crowd of us watching, half expecting it to electrocute him. He slid the dollar into the slot, and the machine whirred to life. The screen, which had been dark, lit up with a single, simple question: what do you need most? Jake, being Jake, just laughed. He thought it was some kind of elaborate prank. He dramatically typed energy on the keypad, probably expecting a generic energy drink. And in a way, he got what he asked for. A small, unlabeled silver can clattered into the dispenser tray. It was cold to the touch, with no writing on it whatsoever. He shrugged, popped the top, and chugged the whole thing right there in the hallway. The effects weren't immediate, but that day in class, he was bouncing off the walls, more hyper than usual. We all just thought it was a sugar rush. But then he didn't sleep that night, or the next night, or the night after that. For 3 straight days, Jake was awake. When he finally crashed, he was a mess. He told us he could hear colors, that the classroom walls were whispering answers to tests, and that the ticking of the clock sounded like a countdown. He was never quite the same after that. But Jake's weird experience didn't scare people off. It did the opposite. Word spread through Northview like wildfire. A machine that gives you what you need? It was like a genie in a box. Suddenly, everyone wanted something. The temptations were too strong to ignore. The school's star quarterback, a guy who was already a mountain of muscle, asked for strength. The next day, he broke the school record for weightlifting, but he also accidentally shattered his locker door just by closing it. He started getting these uncontrollable tremors in his hands. The shy, quiet girl from the library, who could barely speak above a whisper, typed in confidence. She came to school the next day and was a completely different person. She was outgoing, charismatic, and even ran for class president. But she also became cruel, using her newfound voice to cut people down, turning friends against each other. It was confidence, but without any of the kindness she used to have. Every day, a new story circulated. Someone asked for creativity and started painting masterpieces, but they couldn't remember their own family's faces. Someone else asked for luck and won the lottery, but a series of freak accidents started happening to everyone around them. The machine always delivered, but it was becoming clear that it had a twisted sense of irony. It gave you exactly what you asked for, but it took away a piece of you in the process. And me? I watched all of this unfold, a growing sense of dread in the pit of my stomach. I wasn't tempted by strength or confidence. I just wanted to understand. I wanted to know what this thing was, where it came from, and what it wanted. So, one afternoon, after school, when the hallways were empty, I approached it. I fed it my dollar, and when the screen asked its question, my fingers trembled as I typed in 5 simple letters. Truth. The machine hummed louder than I'd ever heard it. It vibrated, the internal mechanisms grinding and clicking. But what dropped into the tray wasn't a can or a candy bar. It was a small, neatly folded piece of paper. My heart hammered in my chest as I picked it up. I unfolded it, and my blood ran cold. The note was written in my own handwriting. A message I had no memory of writing. It said, "You shouldn't have asked." That was the turning point. That night, the vending machine started to change. Its low hum became a menacing drone that echoed through the empty school. Some of the late-night janitors swore they could see faces swirling behind the glass, their expressions twisted in silent screams. The air around it grew cold, and the smell of ozone and burning sugar became a permanent fixture in that hallway. The next morning, we arrived at school to find the main doors locked and chained from the inside. Panic set in. When we were finally able to get in through a side entrance, the hallways were unnaturally quiet. The vending machine was gone. Vanished, just as mysteriously as it had appeared. But in its place, right in the wall where it had stood, was a dark, narrow slot. It was just big enough for a person's hand to fit inside. That was the day our principal disappeared. He was there for the morning announcements, and then he was just gone. His office was empty, car still in the parking lot. A week later, it was a student. Then another. One by one, people started vanishing from Northview. The disappearances were random, leaving behind nothing but questions and fear. The story doesn't end there. The machine is still out there. We hear whispers of it now. It appears in new places: a hospital late at night, a deserted train station, the break room of a downtown office building. It always looks the same, sleek and black and anonymous. It still sells people what they need most, preying on their deepest desires. But it always takes something back in return. Sometimes, if you're alone in a quiet place, you might hear it. That low electronic hum in the dark. It's out there, waiting for its next customer, waiting for the next coin to drop. So, if you ever see it, I'm begging you, just walk away. Thanks for listening to my story. It's a heavy one, I know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you ever encountered something you just can't explain? Be sure to like this video if you want more stories like this, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Stay safe out there.